You're listening to the OK Dad podcast.
Please leave your message for
Daddy-o.
Hi, Daddy.
Okay, Dad podcast. Let's start this thing.
Can you not put that on YouTube?
You're listening to my husband talk a lot.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, perfect. What's
Yeah.
going on, Anthony?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right.
So, you reached out to me, right? I know you might have heard a couple of episodes. I think you know Chris.
Yeah, I know Chris Corman. Yeah, he was telling me all about it.
Yeah. So, what kind of got you interested in this?
Dude, I just love the whole concept of it. I love that it's like all about dads and how we're not perfect, but
Yeah, no, far from it. Yeah. So, starting off, you're a dad.
I am.
Yeah.
I have a little girl. I have a 8-year-old.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you?
Are you? I got a 3-year-old, 11 going on 12-year-old, and then I got one away this March, so it's fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're like deep into being a dad.
Yeah, man. So been doing it for a little bit. There's tons of dads that have been doing it for years. Got tons of
Oh, yeah.
stories. It's pretty cool because I've had a bunch of dads reach out to me, a bunch of moms reach out to me too, just with different kinds of feedback, and like they love
Right.
to share their story. So I like
Yeah.
when it's someone like you that I've never talked to before coming
Yeah.
out and just wanting to share your story with everybody else, give your insights. But are you married, single?
I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend who also has 2 kids.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So you got a house full then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's always pretty wild and crazy over here.
So did you growing up, did you have a dad?
I did, yeah. So my dad and my mom they divorced when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
However, they always, which I thought was cool, man, is that they always remained like best friends. Like
Yeah.
even literally to this day, they remain best friends. And I think it's so cool to see that. And it's actually, I did that myself whenever me and my daughter's mom, whenever we split.
Yeah.
I always wanted to remain her friend and always be in her life, because I feel like if my daughter sees me with her mom, she's going to know that that's like, that's my dad and they're friends. They don't hate each other or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
I just hate to see that,
Yeah, it's hard seeing that. Do you think that was easy for you, or was it difficult since your parents were broken up by the time you're like your daughter's age?
It was, man, it was pretty difficult, I guess, because just seeing like other parents, you know what I mean? Like other parents were, like other kids' parents were always both there at the same time, and mine never were. But
Yeah.
man, it's just so cool. Like me and my daughter's mom do get along to the point where, like, if my daughter's having something, well, before COVID anyway,
Yeah.
whenever my daughter was having something at her school, we could literally both be there, and it was nothing. It was just like, yeah, like this is our child, and we're both here. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. With your parents when they were split, was it difficult with them being split up, or were they kind of cohesive like you and your
No, yeah, they were definitely cohesive with each other. They were really close, even though they weren't together.
Yeah. Do you think how was your dad treating you growing up?
Oh, he was great. I mean, he was pretty harsh sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like one of my punishments always was mowing the grass.
Oh, okay. As a punishment.
Dude, it was a punishment, man, and I hated it so much that he knew that I hated it.
Yeah.
And he every time I get in trouble at school, or anytime like my grades were low, or I was like hitting on my brothers, like
Yeah.
it was like, all right, you're mowing the grass this weekend.
What didn't you like about mowing the grass?
Oh man, being outside and sweating, and
Yeah.
just like he knew that I hated it, and he was like, all right, then that's your
Mm.
punishment.
What did you have so you said brothers, you got a brother and sister?
I do. Oh, I have 2 brothers actually,
2
2 older
brothers?
brothers. Yeah.
Okay. What were their punishments? Like when they got in trouble? Did he tailor punishment to y'all's like dislikings?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Mine was mowing the grass because I hated it. And
Yeah.
both of my brothers were actually, they were both into gaming. So even at because I'm 32, so obviously into gaming back then was like
Yeah,
Super Nintendo.
it was big. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
big thing.
So it was like if they were both into gaming, so their punishment was he would leave the gaming console there, but he would take the controllers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they could just see like the beginning screen like rolling, but they
Yeah.
couldn't do anything else.
But they couldn't do anything about it, so that made them behave, I guess.
Yeah. Did it work? Like, did those
Oh,
incentives? Yeah.
it worked for them, but for me, it worked. Now that I'm an adult, I could see myself doing that
Yeah.
to my kid, although I would never do that to my daughter.
Yeah.
But I could see like that, like doing that, like taking away something that she likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. With my daughter, we don't have like a big size lawn, but we have a good size lawn that I mowed it once and with a push,
Yeah.
and it was an automatic one that rolls. But I mowed it one time and I was like, no, we need a riding lawnmower for this thing. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's like 0.3 acres of lawn, which is not a
Right.
lot, but if you're mowing, like if you're push mowing it, or if you
Dude,
forget,
yeah.
like, it's just heavy. And so I got a
That
riding
push mower,
lawnmower.
man.
I know, right?
Uh-huh.
But I have my daughter get on. I'm like, you know what? She'll probably enjoy getting on a riding lawnmower so she can drive something. And I got her
Right.
on it, and she liked it for like the first 10 seconds. And then afterwards, she was just like straight face, like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. Like, is this a punishment? And I'm like, you gotta
Yeah,
buy the lawnmower. Do you want to do the weed eating? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how much easier it can get. Cause I used to do that. My dad used to wake me up when I had friends over, and he's like, we're gonna mow the lawn. I need you to go around the house and pick up all the rocks. And I got
Yeah,
friends
dude,
here.
that was
Like,
the worst part. Dude, the worst part is picking up the sticks so
Yeah.
he can mow the lawn.
yeah.
That was the worst. It's like, all right, we'll go outside and go pick up the sticks.
And like they're dressed up in boots and pants, and you're just coming out as a kid, like in shorts. You're getting all those spinas on you. Yeah, dude.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah, you're not ready for it. You're not ready for any of that.
Mhm.
When were you living with your dad primarily or your mom?
No, it was actually my mom primarily, but like I said, since they were so close still, so I lived only with my mom and my two brothers, but my dad would come. So I lived in Lytle, Texas,
Yeah.
and my dad lived in San Antonio. But what was cool is that every single morning he would come to my mom's house to pick us up and take us to school, even though it was only like 2 miles away from our
Yeah.
house. But I always thought that was so cool that my dad would get up super early in the morning just to drive from San Antonio to Lytle to take us to school.
Yeah.
And he did it every single morning. He would come and make breakfast for us, and
Oh,
I
dude,
always
that's
thought that was
great.
really cool.
And that
Yeah.
stuff you remember now that probably impacted you like a whole ton.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So Lytle, for anybody that's listening, Lytle is like, would you call it country? I would call it like out in the country, but
Definitely
not.
back then, yeah, out in the country for sure.
It's definitely like a 30-minute drive to like 40-minute drive to the nearest Walmart. Especially years ago, right? Now there's one in Divine. So
Yeah.
moving on.
But years ago, it was like it was only Super S and True
Mhm.
Value and a Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Dude, Dairy
That was
Queens
like
are all over Texas.
Oh
Everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I drive a lot for my job, and I'll be going through like the most barren towns, and then there's a Dairy Queen there.
There's always a Dairy Queen.
Dude, I could see that as like a front shop for anybody that wants to launder money, and like, how is a Dairy Queen surviving just out in the country in Texas?
You like ask for like a Oreo Blizzard, but with sprinkles,
With
and that's how you get like the
extra sprinkles.
Hey.
That'll be $55, sir.
All right, no problem. I got it.
Man. So with that growing up, how do you think that impacts like you? How did you find out that you were going to be a dad? How did you find out she was pregnant?
Dude, man, when I found out I was going to be a dad, I was scared. Actually, I wasn't scared. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified, and I was very, very happy at the exact same time. I just remember, so at that time, actually, I still work at HEB now, but at that time, I had just started working at HEB.
Okay.
And I just remember coming home and she said, "Hey, I didn't go to work today because I felt really sick the last couple days, so I just made a doctor's appointment." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, are you feeling better, or like, what did they tell you?" And I just remember her saying, she goes, "Well, I do have to tell you something." And I was like, "Oh man." I didn't do at first. I did not think at all she was gonna say that. I thought she was gonna say she had like explosive diarrhea and I had to
Yeah.
sleep in the other room or something like that. But I just remember her being like, she was like, "So I am pregnant," and I was
Dude.
just, dude, I was just like, "Wait, what?" And dude, I was just so scared, but it was, man, and I just remember thinking like, okay, she's pregnant, and I really, really hope it's gonna be a girl.
Yeah.
I wanted so bad for it to be a girl, and she was a girl.
Oh man. Do you remember
Yeah,
the first words you said to her right after she told you she was pregnant?
I said I can't wait.
Oh, nice. Good choice of
Yeah, dude.
words.
Yeah, I just remember saying like I can't wait to meet her. Like I can't wait. Like
Yeah.
man, it was just such like the craziest feeling. Like knowing that that little human will always depend on you no matter what.
Yeah. There's no way to like prep for it. I think
Dude,
when you're
yeah,
being told like nobody can prep you for that, it's gonna happen. But it's almost like when you hear those words, you know it's inevitable, and then
right.
that being terrified almost turns to like excitement to like, you know what, I can do this, I got this, you know.
Yeah, man. Yep. Man,
You
and
just
then
know
it's
you
crazy. It's always crazy hearing like other parents or your own parents' advice, and
yeah.
like they like always give you advice, and then stuff happens like with your own kid, and that advice just never works. Like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. It's it's really hard taking their advice because I don't know, I don't know why. They're so set in their ways that it's gonna work or it did work.
Yeah.
And I remember there was an argument, not I wouldn't even call it an argument, but there's like a disagreement that I had with my mother about my son.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that he was going to be okay, but she couldn't watch him this weekend. So she wanted to, and this is when he was like a newborn. He like the dude couldn't even roll over yet.
Right.
And she was like, "Well, we can leave him at our grandparents' house." And my grandparents are pretty old. They're still mobile and stuff, but if like a newborn started choking, I'm not expecting them to do like a Heimlich on a newborn or
Right.
CPR on a newborn. And so I said stuff like that. I'm like, well, I just don't know if we can depend on them for that. Like, he's not old enough yet. He can't walk, he can't turn over, he can't tell you, hey, I've had enough, my stomach hurts. And her rebuttal was, well, she raised us and she raised like so many kids, like I think they'll be fine. And my
Right.
response was like, yes, I agree with that. That was years ago when they were more agile, more mobile. But didn't they accidentally run over one of my uncles? And so the
Oh
story
my god.
behind that is I don't know if he was horse playing around the car, but they had ran over his foot or something.
Right.
And it was just like a throwaway, like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but didn't they run over, Uncle so and so? And she's
Yeah.
like, no, that's you're thinking of the story all wrong. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of the story all wrong. Months later, at a family breakfast that we have together,
Yeah.
we're there, we're all talking, and just like from the other side of the room, well, Brian didn't want y'all to watch Asher because he said that y'all might run over him. Like, what? Out of context here.
Oh my god.
Well, with your daughter being 8, what's probably one of the things that she's tested you on so far that you felt like you weren't prepared for yet, and then it just hit you?
Man, curse words.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like I think it's so we got her an iPad like maybe like 2 years ago already, right?
Hmm.
And obviously you try your best to monitor what they're watching and stuff like that. But they're gonna watch a video every now and then that's gonna have a curse word in it.
Hmm.
And dude, I was not ready for her to learn curse words. I feel like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, if I said a curse word, like, man, that was like the worst, dude. Like you're like
Yeah.
my dad would just be like, boom, like slap you in the face, or
Right
my
there.
mom
Yep.
would. My mom never actually did it, but the fear of her saying she was gonna do it was the worst. So she said, if we ever hear you saying a curse word, I'm gonna take a bar of soap and I'm gonna put it in your mouth to wash your mouth out.
Yeah, I heard that was a big threat growing up. I know I had a
Dude,
lot of friends
yeah,
that was the threat their mom would
that
say.
was the threat, man. She never did it, but the fear of having that in your mouth, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
never cursing.
Yeah.
But dude,
Were
definitely curse words, man.
Did you, so as a kid, did you ever, like, I know most of us ended up like swearing, but
Yeah,
did you still swear like away from your parents?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, it's weird, right? How
absolutely,
like
yeah,
we do that and it's like away from them, because I know growing up it was the same thing.
right,
And my cousin and I, we, instead of saying the F bomb, which that one's like super vulgar, especially being that young,
right,
we would say freak. We would go,
yeah,
"Oh, what the freak?" And we would be yelling that, and we would be playing the Nintendo or the N64. We'd be playing that, and when we die, that's what it would be. I remember playing, it was like one of the wrestling games, and we were like,
yeah.
"Oh, what the freak? What the freak?" We're talking, and my uncle comes in and just yells at us like, "Hey, y'all need to quiet down." And we're like, "Okay, okay, we'll quiet down." He's like, "And stop cursing." And we're like, we're
Yeah.
not cursing. And he's like, "Y'all are saying freak." And then he starts making fun of us. What the freak? What the freak? Y'all are still talking like that. And so we're like, "Well, but it's not a curse word." And he's like, "You think I don't know what y'all are subbing that out for?" And we're like, "Oh, yeah." Like we didn't even know we were subbing it out.
Dude,
That's,
and on that note, I tried to describe to my daughter what a Nintendo 64 was.
Mhm.
And you know how like the N64 remote was like the three little things, like you had the joystick in the middle and the
Yeah.
buttons on the side.
Yeah.
And she was just like, why would there be a game that had that? I don't get it. Because she's like totally into her Nintendo Switch,
Yeah.
and she's into her like Xbox stuff, and it was just funny like listening to her be like, I don't get why there would be something in the middle.
It was before
What?
your time.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
telling her, dude. And like she likes to, because I told her one time that I was born in 1988. That's the year I was born.
Mhm.
And to her, it's just like, man, you were born in the 80s, Dad.
I know, somebody I met when I was in the army, they started telling me when somebody was born what year it was. So I started telling my age as soon as I hit like 25. I was like, "All right, I'm 30." As soon as I hit 25. And
Yeah.
I started saying I was born in 1990 because it sounds so old. So that's why I started
Yeah.
introducing people born before like 2000. Like, yeah, oh yeah, when were you born? Like, I think he was born in like 1987. I just started
Yeah.
introducing that because I mean, it's not wrong. It's not an incorrect way to say it.
That's the right way, yeah.
Yeah. With
That's funny.
with doing that, like in the curse words, and now, do you think that she's cursing just not in front of you?
And I hope not. I really like to hope that she's not, but I mean I know I did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, she's such like a really good girl. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
she's such like a genuine, she's like very nice, and she's very like a girly girl kind of
Yeah.
little girl. And I would hope that she's not like when she gets upset. You know when you get upset now and you're like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah.
I would really hope that if she like accidentally hits her toe or something like that, she's not. Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
I
I
know.
mean, yeah,
That was my daughter. So my daughter, I heard her, I think she says damn, or she said something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'll let that slide. Like, let me see if she says it again whenever she's getting mad. And I heard something similar to that. And I was like, hey, hold on. Like, you're not saying the right thing. Like, I'm giving you a warning, you know? I don't want you to be saying
right.
that. And like it goes away. She doesn't say it anymore. And then maybe a few weeks later, she'll let something slip. And so I have that thought in my mind. She's very, very good hearted, very genuine. But I'm also
Yeah,
in the back of my mind, when I was a kid, I got very aware of like who I was around. If I was around adults, like, hey, we don't curse around adults. But then also I went hunting with my father and a good family friend. We always used to go hunting. And they would curse. It was always like no matter where these adults were, they would be cursing.
Right.
And he's a family friend, but I call him my uncle. And so my uncle wouldn't curse like so vulgarly. He might say like the D word, or he might say damn, or he might say something like kind of colorful, but not off the wall. But he
Yeah.
wouldn't do that around females. And I was like, oh, okay, like, hey, this is a difference between somebody like being as nice as they can be, but
Yeah.
they still like curse. And I've kind of always had that, like, hey, depending on who I'm around, like I'm just not gonna curse. People in the military curse like just to talk about the color they like, and it's like no rhyme or reason for them.
Right.
But I remember going out and we're hunting, and they turn around to me one day, and I was pretty young, and they say, okay, if we're here and we're hunting, you can use curse words. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, no, this is a trap.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything. And then what I really appreciated from them is like, hey, you can use curse words. And so I took that. Okay, cool. I can use curse words. But then I was like, no, this is a trap. And then I'm like, well, I don't even know how to use curse words like correctly. So the whole like first couple of weeks, like I didn't know what to say. So I never even used the curse word until later on. It just, you spend more time with them, and whoever you're around, you start developing that talk. And I started talking like that just
Yeah.
when we were hunting. But it was kind of cool for me. It at least filtered me when being that young, like, hey, who I'm around, or there's certain times for it, which in my opinion now, I don't think that, like, hey, us kids don't need to be cursing, but I do
Oh
still in the
yeah.
back of my mind, I feel like, you know what? They're probably cursing. I was in school. I remember everybody's at school, everybody's in the lunch yard,
Hmm.
everybody wants to be cool, so everybody's using these words.
Right. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
with with that, going into my next kind of question. So you're split up with baby mama.
Right. Right.
How are y'all co-parenting right now?
Man, really, really good still. I mean, even with COVID going on, uh, we're still co-parenting very well. Like, even just the other day, I went over and I would drop my daughter off over there. I even pick her up over there sometimes too,
Yeah.
and I love it. It's like we still get along very well. I mean, I've never had a problem with her. She's never had a problem with me. I think it was just one of those things that whenever we split, we were just, I don't know, I guess she wasn't feeling me anymore. And I kind of wasn't feeling her anymore, but I wasn't going to make her stay with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was
And
it
it,
more one way than the other when y'all split up?
yeah, I think it was more her not wanting to be with me anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was never the kind of guy that was going to, make her stay with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never really tried super hard to make her stay with me. It was just like,
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do, then,
Yeah.
then let's do it. But
Did y'all, for custody, did y'all have to go to court or anything for it?
yeah, actually we did. So we went to court and we did the whole child support thing but it was, man, I hear like such terrible, terrible stories from
Yeah.
other dads. But honestly, my story with my daughter's mom is not terrible. Like, yeah, we split up. We didn't want to be together. However, we still wanted to both be there for our daughter. So whenever we were at the custody hearing, that it was what is it called? Like whenever it's not court, it's
Like
median or something like that. It's like
arraignment,
we're
pretrial.
it's like we're both parties meet with a judge, but it's not in a court setting. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's median or something like that. But so we were there, and the lady. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so the lady was literally just like, if you guys want to talk about it, you guys can talk about it, and you guys can work out your own thing, because it was like based upon how much money I made.
Mhm.
that's how much they were going to take out of my check. And I was like, whoa, like it was like this
Yeah.
huge amount of money that they were going to take out. And I was like, and I told her, I was like, dude, if you guys take that much money out of my check, like I'm not going to have money for this, I'm not going to have money for that, not for my rent, not for whatever.
Was it like a percentage or it was like a
It was,
solid number?
yeah, it was like based upon how much money you made. It was like, I think it was like 40% or something like that of how much money you made before taxes.
Oh, okay.
And but like the thing is that me and her were still very cool with each other.
Yeah.
That the lady, the judge, she let us talk amongst ourselves, just me and her. And I was like, okay, so this is how much they're asking, but let's you and me agree on this payment, so I can still have enough to pay
live.
for child support and still have enough money to live. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, dude. Like she was like, okay, well, we're agreeing on this amount, and it's not going to change. And I still, dude, it's awesome. Like I get to see my daughter, like literally anytime I'm off of work, I have my daughter, or even after work now, I'll go to her house and I'll bring her food and we'll hang out for a while. That's what I did today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, with doing that with I guess your ex, right?
Mhm.
How are y'all able to maintain it? Like, would you say there's like a line you have to walk, or she has to walk for certain things? Is it easy just
Uh,
because it's really mutual between y'all two? But like for other
Man,
dads out there, it's hard. Like I know there's,
right.
the ex spouse, they can just say something, set them off, or there's something 10 minutes late. Like what the heck, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Is there something that can like either make or break a day for y'all, or is it just pretty mutually understanding?
Man, yeah, it's pretty mutual, man. I've like ever since we've even been broken up, there's never been one time where we were just like, what the fuck? Like, why were you late?
Yeah,
Or you didn't like pay for that, or pay for this, or whatever.
yeah,
It's like, man, it's always been like we're just two people that are friends. We had a child and we both take care of our child, and
yeah.
that's
So
it. Like, man,
since
like
it's
I
been
do
that
hear
easy.
very, very horrible stories though. I
Yeah,
really do.
there's
And
horrible ones, but there's also really good ones like yours. Since it has
right.
been really good, what do you think helps it be really good?
I think the fact that we both we both want to be there for my daughter. Like we both want, like I wouldn't want another person to take that place of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong. Like she is married. You know what I mean? Like she has a husband. My ex.
yeah,
She is married, but man, it's just so awesome. Like knowing that my daughter knows that like I'm her dad, and like I'm always going to be her dad. And
oh,
yeah,
100%.
she sees this other guy, but she definitely knows, like, Anthony, me,
Yeah,
I'm her dad. Like I love
yeah,
that so much, man.
yeah, dude. It's hard because not everybody like gets that chance or has that communication piece.
Yeah,
With
man. Like,
that, like that's big that she knows that you're her dad and you're doing the dad stuff, the dad talk and the walk, man.
oh
Like,
yeah, definitely,
yeah.
man. Ever
How
since
is
I found out, dude.
how is it with since she's married, how is it with that parent? Are you able to still like communicate with him?
I wish that I could. I really do. But I think he's kind of on the other side of that, where he is definitely not comfortable at all. And I mean, I'm never gonna be like, well, what the fuck, you should
Yeah.
be, or whatever. But he's not. But he does understand that I am, and so is my daughter's mom. So he kind of lets that happen.
Yeah.
But he's just not comfortable with like meeting me or talking to me one on one or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
but it's never been like a conflict or anything.
Yeah.
It's just been like just a mutual, like, okay, you're not comfortable, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be though if he was.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
it's weird, right? Like you feel that way. I know for me, it's almost like it's reversed. Like I want him to have that time with my daughter because she's my stepdaughter, and I want him
Yeah.
to like, hey, you say you're gonna come, like, come, man. Like, we're waiting for you. We're ready. She's all dressed up. She's waiting by the door. And for
Right.
the most part, like I say it pretty often, like he's a good dad. When it comes to parenting, like I think that's a different kind of field, and we try to put both of those together and be a good dad slash parent. But when it comes to that, with time being so limited, I totally understand. If you're there for a weekend or you're there for a small period of time, you want to enjoy
Right.
that time. So you're not worried about, hey, a bedtime. You're not worried about, hey, are you eating something like that's healthy or sugary? Because like right now you're with dad. So like I understand those aspects of it too. Like, hey, that's your dad. Have fun with your dad, because there's
Right.
kids out there that are stepkids, and dad is in the same city but he's not around. And
Right.
that to me is more rough. So even when both of you guys are on the same page, it's kind of nice because you're both doing it for the child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yep, definitely. Like I just know that, man, like what always makes me feel like I know I'm doing a good job is that when my daughter is, let's say whenever she's like 25 years old, like
Yeah.
I want her to be like in her own place, like with hanging out with her friends, and she's talking about, like, they're all talking about like their parents, and oh, I don't like this about my parent, I don't like that about my dad, I don't like this about my mom or whatever.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, she's like, actually, my dad's hilarious,
Yeah.
and he's like a cool dude, and we hang out all the time.
He didn't make me cut grass at all when I was growing up.
Yeah, he didn't make me cut the grass once.
Yeah. I know,
Even he
like
didn't cut the grass. He hired somebody to.
you got somebody else to cut the grass for us.
Dude, and you know what too? Like I had a lawnmower that was a battery powered lawnmower.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I cut the grass. Even at my age now, I'll do it. But I am so tempted to hire somebody to cut the grass that I did it one time, and I was like, yeah, all my neighbors are looking at me like, yeah, why didn't that guy just cut his own grass?
I know. I see that. Like, I'm tempted with it because we moved last January. We moved,
Yeah.
and I've been cutting the grass. I'm like, man, I want to get someone out here to turn it like green. Maybe have them do it for a few years, and I'll go
Yeah.
back to just cutting it. Like, I don't know. I keep playing with that idea because I don't mind cutting it. Like, I like cutting it because like now I'm not the one picking up all the rocks and the sticks and doing all that
Yeah,
work.
you're the one cutting the grass
Yeah,
now.
now I'm the one cutting it. So I'm waiting for, like, I have my daughter now. Like I said, I have her get on the lawnmower, ride it around. And then
Yeah.
my son, that was a mistake. I put him on the lawnmower with me. And so he's holding the steering wheel. We're driving. That was a
Uh-huh.
mistake. So anytime he hears the lawnmower, like he just starts bawling because he wants to be on it.
Oh
So
no.
like now I don't
Yeah.
even cut it when he's here, but it's been nice. It's been nice that it's so cold that it's not growing. So that's been
Oh
a good
yeah.
one.
Dude, it's freezing outside.
I know it dropped to what, 30 today?
I think tonight it's supposed to get like 27 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's supposed
it's
to be
it's
freezing, man.
cold, man. It's cold out there. With with your daughter being at this age, she's in elementary school then, right?
Right. She's in second grade now.
Are y'all both close to her elementary school? Like how does that work? Picking her up, dropping her
Uh,
off?
yeah. So right now, obviously, she's doing homeschool, but before she was doing homeschool because of COVID, man. So my job, I go into work at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So I get out of work by 12:30 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. So it worked out so perfect that,
Man, that's good, dude. I gotta work for HEB. Look at that.
dude, oh man, I'm telling you, man, it worked out so perfect that her mom would go into work at 9 a.m. so she would drop her off at school, and
Yeah,
I got out of work in time to pick her up from school every day.
that's perfect.
So
Yeah.
it worked out so good. So I would pick her up from school. We would go to like Dairy Queen and get ice cream. This was like
Yep.
every day, man. It was
That
so
Dairy
awesome. Like,
Queen. There it is
dude,
again.
I'm telling you, dude, we would go up to Dairy Queen and get ice cream, or we'd go to like Chick-fil-A and get nuggets.
Yeah.
And then I would, wait like maybe 2 hours, and we'd hang out, and then do her homework, and then I drop her off at her mom's house. But
Dude, that's
The
perfect.
way,
My daughter's 11, like I said, going on 12.
right?
And when me and my wife got together, we switched her over when we were getting really serious. We switched her over to we kept her in the same school, but we were going to switch her over the next year, and we kept her in the same school, so it was about a 30-minute drive from where we were at.
Oh man, that's
And
far.
yeah, every morning I was just going to college at the time, and I just gotten out of the army, so I didn't have a full-time job. So it was fine. My wife worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the time. So we
Right.
had a lot of extra time on our hands. So we drove her to school and picked her up on that 30-minute drive every day. But
Yeah.
dropping her off, if we got there early, I don't know why my daughter likes getting up like at 5:30. She can get up at 5. She always like, hey, can I set an alarm for 5? And I'm like, you need to sleep until 6. If you get up at
Oh wow.
6, like then like take a shower, do some chores, and then you can watch TV. Like she just wants to watch TV in the morning.
All right.
And we used to get up so early, like at 5, we would wake her up and we would take her. But we used to get tacos. And I'm telling you, doing that like a little routine or method that you do, you're just having fun. You don't think anything of it. And she
Right.
like even now talks back about it. She's like, remember when I was in first grade? Remember when I was in second grade? We used to always go get tacos right by the school. Like, what was the name of
Yeah,
that
man.
restaurant? And it's good, man, because you're like, oh, like that was it that Disney movie, that core memory. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's what it is. Like that's what you're creating. You don't even know. You're just having like a good time with your
Dude,
daughter, you know?
for real, man. Like I can't wait till my daughter's older and she's like, yeah, whenever my dad would pick me up from school, we would go to Dairy Queen and we'd get
Yeah.
like freaking like cookies and cream, ice cream blizzards or something.
Yeah. He was always ordering the blizzard with extra sprinkles. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
It's what do you think are like speaking of those kind of moments, what are some key moments that you have with your daughter that you're just like never gonna forget those?
Man, one thing that I always think about is, and I mean, it was when literally the minute she was born. Man, this is so crazy because I remember. So one of my favorite bands is Blink-182,
Hmm.
and uh, whenever she was in the womb, I would always have Blink-182 playing like, on the radio while, my girl was like my daughter's mom was in the passenger seat, right? Always,
Yeah.
always, always, always. And when my daughter was born, she's a little infant, she's in the car seat, always playing Blink-182, always, right? And so for the past 8 years, anytime she's in the car, always Blink-182.
Yeah.
And what I think is so, so awesome is even to this day, she'll be like, hey, uh, let's listen to some Blink-182. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's listen to some
Yeah.
Blink-182.
This is how I know you're my daughter.
Yeah, dude, it's like the best. Yeah, man, it's so awesome. Like, I love it so much. Her just asking that is like,
Yeah.
that's the best.
It's like when they develop kind of the habits that you have and your likes, that's when it really feels big, man.
Yeah. Oh, man, for real.
What are some things you hope that she remembers like later on?
I really hope she remembers that, like, I always try to make her laugh.
Yeah.
I hope she always remembers that, dude. That I always try to make her laugh. I always like just want her to make her happy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want her to be older and just think like if I like passed away or something tomorrow in like 10 years, I want her to be like, man, he was a really funny dude though.
Yeah.
He did always try to make me laugh.
with with my daughter doing the homeschooling too, she was doing classes and it's on Zoom.
Yeah.
I would go behind her when she has her video on, and I don't whatever that dance was where they wave their hand, I would just start doing that behind her. Oh my god. Just like stop doing that. And I did it to one of her theater arts teachers, actually related to me. She's my cousin. And I did that and I didn't know it was her class. And she messaged me later. She's like, was that you in Cindy's background, like dancing? Like, yeah, that was me. I was trying to embarrass her. I didn't know it was in your class.
That's
So
hilarious.
when it first happened, everything was like from home, doing homeschooling, and
Yeah.
our hours were cut in half, so I was only working 2 days out of the week, and it was great. Like I had a lot of time on my hands. We were still thankfully blessed to have everything covered, but yeah,
Yeah.
like for the most part, she was at school from school time, and I would just be walking back and forth and just start dancing right behind her, just start looking all weird and like that old man, like dad, like what are you doing? Like how's this still
Yeah, what's
start
going on
tapping
over
on
there
it?
with that computer? What's going on, man?
Dude, it's great. And like you get like genuine laughs, and your humor isn't like, I know we say it a lot, like it's a dad joke or dad humor, but it's
Yeah.
like based on your kids, like your level of funny, which
Oh
is
yeah.
kind of cool. Different, if you look at different dads teasing their kids, they're all in that line of like, hey, this is what a dad does. Like it's a dad joke, but it's done out of love and like for those kids, like for his kids, which is really
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Absolutely, man. Dude, so let me turn the tables on you if I can
Yeah, go
for
for
a
it, man.
second. So you said you had a 11-year-old, right?
Yeah, I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old. He just turned 3 son.
So so my girl's 8, but dude, how does it feel having an 11-year-old? I mean, that's
Oh
not that
man,
far off from an 8-year-old, but I mean, like, I feel like it's so much
no.
different.
Oh man, it's nice. Like she's at the point to where she's asking me questions, and I remember that was something my dad said. My dad was always like, "I'm waiting for you to ask me some like really like life challenging questions," and I'm like, I got nothing for you. I don't know. And I kind of always got that. Me and my dad would talk a ton about just different topics. And
Right.
so that's kind of in my head, like, hey, when I was your age, I was talking some like really big topics. I probably didn't know what I was talking about or what I was doing, but I was forming these opinions and my habits. And I've been waiting for her to start doing that. Recently, it was a few months ago, I've been waiting for it. And she's like, I have a whole bunch of questions. And it's with me and my wife. And she's asking these really like hard questions. And my wife is just like 2, 3 word answering them because my wife's very like straightforward. Let's cut to the facts. Here you are. This
Right.
is that. And she's a nurse. So when she asks something like, let's say about like periods, she'll ask like, hey, what's going on with the period? My wife is like, well, they're eggs, and when it's this and that, and this is what happens once a month, blah blah blah. And then when you're so
Right.
long, when you're so old, like menopause will happen. And and so my daughter's just like, okay, I didn't get any of that. And then like she'll ask me, and I'll explain the best that I can, which I'm not a doctor or anything. So I'm like, well,
Right.
this is what it is, and asked me what's the meaning of life, and I started answering her like my take on it. And, hey, like to put it as brief as I could, I'm like, you know what, I think we're really here to live, like to enjoy it. We live, and
Right.
I expand on it some more. And then after that, she's like, I got another question. I was like, yeah. She's like, if you had a superpower, what superpower would it be? And I'm like, I'm ready for all these hard questions, but still, like in her heart, she's a kid. So like
Oh, that's
still
awesome. Yeah.
coming. But the older she got, I remember her being like 6, 7, 8, 9. And she's my little girl. She doesn't even know it. She's my little girl. But I'm like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be old enough. I need you to start doing chores and like taking out the trash. And she's like, I can't even lift the trash bag. And I'm like, all right, you're right. You can't. It's too
Oh.
big. So like she got me like that for very long. And then I'm like, you're 10 years old. You can't lift this trash bag. Like you told me a year or two ago you couldn't lift it. Like, I think you got me on that one. So like I
Yeah.
have her take out the trash. She's great. Like we're trying to teach her the value of money. So we give her commission. She has chores. She has a very loose chore chart, which
Yeah.
she wants to, like I said earlier, if she wants to watch TV in the morning, she's got to do at least one chore.
Dang. All
And
right. Yeah.
she wakes up early and she'll take out the trash, do the chore. But she started getting me because she'll get up early, she'll take out the trash has got like 3 napkins in it, she'll throw it away. And she's like, boom, I did a chore. And this
Right.
morning, actually, she got up, she did a chore, and she started watching TV. And I was already working. I gotten up like at 6, so I was working on
Yeah.
like our budget. And I hear her come downstairs. I hear her turn the TV on. I come out and I was like, did you do a chore before you watch that TV? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what chore did you do? She's like, I cleaned up the playroom. I was like, the playroom that you cleaned up yesterday? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, so was it really dirty? She's like, no, but it's a chore. And I was like, go wash the dishes and then you can watch TV. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
that counts. You can watch the TV while you do the dishes right now. And she's like,
All
okay.
right.
And it's just like that. It's like, okay, I'll do that because she knows like, oh, okay, like, I got you. Like, that's what you said.
Yeah.
You said
She
this
tried to get
verbatim.
you.
And so it does. They get a lot smarter the older they get, but they still play on your heart. Like they
Right.
know who you are. They know you love her. Like you don't want to cause her any harm, or you're not trying to make her life any rough. I had to. There was a time when I think she was around 7 or 8, where you said your daughter's in second grade.
She was in second grade, yeah.
So she was probably 7, and she was struggling with reading. So we tried to do a couple of things. We tried to do at home reading, which is the best thing to do. I took out a loan and we went to that Sylvan Learning Center, which it did
Oh
help.
wow.
We just couldn't
Yeah.
go as much as we needed to. And the best thing for that was just, hey, we gotta sit down and read every night, whether it be a book. I'm gonna have you read. And I feel really comfortable with my patience. I'm a very patient person, especially when it comes to kids.
Right.
Because I just remember being there, and you've seen those memes where it's like, I remember when I'm trying to read and my mom's just there with her chocolate behind me, like 1+1 is 1. Those pictures,
Right.
like you're just bawling because you got it wrong. And
Yeah.
this is how she was. Nobody would be mad at her, but we were working on her homework, and I don't know where she got it from, but she's very sensitive. So if she couldn't get it, she would beat herself up more
Mm-hmm.
than even try. So she can't try because she's like bawling, she can't control it. So
Yeah.
I had a talk with her about it. Like, hey, I'm sorry, like that you're feeling this way. And it's a very like grown up talk to have. And you're just hoping some of it just slides through. And, I'm the one that's feeling like the bad guy because I'm here with you every day and you're doing a majority of the crying with me as we're trying to read or do homework.
Right.
And I remember having that talk like, hey, I want what's best for you. Like, I want you to be able to read. I don't want other kids laughing at you because, she was afraid of that too, just because she couldn't read and she would beat herself up. And I had to talk like, hey, like, I want you to be a good person. Like, I have chores. I don't want to give you chores. I was like, I would much rather go to Dairy Queen, get a Blizzard with extra sprinkles on it than be here having you cry in front of me because we're trying to read.
Right. Yep.
And I think
I hear
some
you.
of that did go through to her because she started trusting me more. And it's like at those ages, you really don't know what's going to stick and what's not going to stick when you're having these talks, because there's some hard conversations that you're going to have with them and they're not
Mm-hmm.
going to remember any of it. There's some really easy conversations that you're going to have with them and it's just going to stick like glue. Like, I just got to knock out one chore. Okay, cool.
Right.
But
Yep.
at this age, it's hard for me too because there's times where I'm definitely not perfect, right? That hence the okay dad, like I'm an okay dad.
Right.
But I have her take out the trash for the garbage man. And when she didn't at first she didn't get a lot. It's her first time, even at this age, it's her first time taking the trash can out. And she forgot to take the trash out. And I was gonna cut the grass the next day because that was the only day I had to cut the grass. We have a ton of grass, so I bag it and put it, or I don't even bag it, I just put it in the trash can.
Right.
And I can't fill it up because she forgot to take it out. The trash can passed. So it was like on a Thursday, so it didn't come till Saturday, the next Tuesday. So because of that, I got really frustrated and I got after her.
Yeah.
And she was 7 or 8, it wouldn't have stuck. But since she was 11 now, it got to her. I probably went a little too hard on it. I probably got after her just a little bit more. And then I had some time to reflect and I was like, you know what? I probably overreacted on this, but I'm wondering how what really affected me is she said, I know you can take money out of my chores for the month because I didn't take it out, or for the week.
Right.
And that's when it hit me like, hey, Cindy, it's not about money. And when she came back that week and I'm like, I want to talk to you. It's not about money when you do the chores. We're giving you money so you have money to spend on what you want. We got 3 envelopes set up. Give her $5 at the end of the week. a dollar goes to give, a dollar goes, $2 go to spend, $2 go to save. So she's saving money, and then her give she gives to charity or whatever she wants to do with it, and then her spend she can spend whatever she wants on it.
Right.
And she's got like $100 and $60 in one, like 50 in another. Like it's crazy how much $5 adds up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And she tells me, she's like, no, you can just take money out, like just quickly, like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I forgot, you can just take money out. And that's when it like really hurt me. I'm like, oh, I just did her such a disservice. And when she came back, I talked to her, hey, the chores do give you money, but I don't have you just doing, me and your mom don't have you doing just random chores. We have you doing the dishes because you like when mom cooks, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, so when mom works like a long day, she's not going to cook if she has to do the dishes. She's going to do the dishes and then make us something really simple. She cooks
Right.
really well, really good food. And when all the pots and pans are there, like she's going to make us food. I was like, so you're not just helping us out, you're helping yourself out. You're part of the family. This is a family effort. When you take the trash out, that saves me time from taking the trash out. So now I have more time with you guys. We can put the TV on, we can get a game ready. Same thing with
Right.
cleaning up. Like instead of cleaning up when I come home or mom comes home and the house is really dirty, like that's kind of how you feel, like, oh, this is dirty. Like I got to clean all this up. I was like, so by you just cleaning up, tidying up the front room or your room or Asher's room, that's making it more enjoyable for us. I was like, I don't want you to think about that as just a chore. And that was a conversation that stuck to her. And
Right.
I've had several conversations, they haven't stuck before, they don't stick at all. And I'll, right after you finish the whole monologue, you're like, okay, what did I just say? And they're like, you said, and they're trying to think of just the last words. What do you,
Right.
is there like a big conversation you had with your daughter that she like didn't just take at all?
Man, like one time I talked to her about being grateful for the things that she has. Like she has a place to live, you know what I mean? She has like my house, she has her mom's house, she has her or my mom's house, right?
Yeah.
And like I was just trying to explain to her that like, there are some kids out there that don't have like a Nintendo Switch, or they don't
Yeah.
have like something to eat any time of the day that they want. And she didn't she didn't really she got what I was saying, but I don't think she
Mhm.
really like got it. You know what I mean? Like how you and
Yeah.
me would get that, right?
Right.
Like it didn't, and I just don't think that it stuck. But I do want her to know that though, because that
Yeah.
was like when I was a kid, like I was definitely not like, I mean, I was in a good situation, but I wasn't like, rich or anything. Like my
Yeah.
family wasn't rich or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I always thought when I was a kid, I was like, man, if or like a teenager, I was like, if I ever have a kid, I want to make sure that like I give them like freaking like anything they want. And
Yeah.
like if they want a Nintendo Switch, I'm gonna get them that. I'm gonna get them
Yeah.
their games. I'm gonna buy them any food that they want.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, we'll buy you a Super Nintendo after like, you cut the grass 6 times, you could wash the dishes 4 times, and all this stuff.
You're the first Lopez on the moon. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, something
exactly.
ridiculous. My dad did that about being grateful. His tagline that I remember is see how lucky you are. I'd be like in the backyard and he would yell at me like, hey, come here, come here. So I'd run, I go over there, and it's just something on the news, and he'd be like, look at this kid. See how lucky you are?
Yeah,
And he said it so often that it kind of lost its value to me, because I'm like, I get it. Like, we're not, like, I'm lucky, I'm grateful, I have a house over my head, like I understand, but it kind of
right,
lost its value because I tried to like fire back because I was a kid, I know everything. So I try to fire back, like, hey, look at this, like, see how lucky you are about this, dad. Because I would always try to get him to stop smoking, but he just never would. He would
right,
try, he would get so far, but then it would like come down, like he'd relapse and go back to it. And so I remember trying to do it one time too, like, hey, look, see how lucky you are. You can stop now. And he said something like real, he's very like quick-witted like I am, and he came back with something very quick-witted. And after that I'm like, oh, So it's not really a how lucky you are, a grateful situation. Like you're just using this as like a joke or it's something similar, and it kind of lost its value a little bit there. But he would
Right.
do that to me so often that yeah, that's something that's just ingrained with me. Like anytime I see something bad or sad, I'm always like, man, look, see how lucky you are. And it's like it lost its kind of like value of what we think of as like grateful. At least in my eyes, it does. So
Right.
for me moving forward with my kids, I try to keep that, like you said, like something very serious. Like, hey, look, not everybody has a house, not everybody has a Nintendo Switch. Like these are privileges that we get that we're blessed
Right.
with in one way or another. Like I work hard for this. We're getting this, and not everybody's lucky enough to have it in a
Yeah.
sense. But man, I think what are we at right now, time wise?
Oh, I don't know.
We're pretty far gone, man. I think we're almost at an hour.
Oh, wow. All right.
But it goes by quick, man. I know it does.
Wow. Yeah.
But Anthony, if you had all the dads listening right now and they all sat down, they had their ears open, and we had a press conference. Anthony Lopez going up there.
Oh
What
no.
what what kind of fatherly advice would you give out to all the dads that are out there?
Man, I would say always, always try to make your kids smile and always remember that no matter what happens in your whole entire life, that kid is only going to have one dad, and it's going to be you.
Right.
Like, no matter what, man, like, it's just like, man, it's just like such a heartwarming thing to know that that child is only going to have you as the dad and
Yeah.
never anyone else. So definitely take that and put it in your pocket and just have that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's what drives it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Anthony. I
Yeah.
hope you had fun. I
Yeah,
hope
man, I definitely did. I loved it.
if you had to shout anybody out that you think would enjoy it, just shout out their name right now, man. Whoever you think would be good to come on here. Maybe that will give them enough courage to send me a message. Maybe they'll be
uh, let's see. Well, he already went on though, but it was Chris Corman.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know
Yeah, he's the one that told me about it.
he's wanted to come back on. I'm like, if you
Yeah.
let your guard down a little bit, you can come back on. You were a little bit guarded, Chris. And so he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to work on that. I need to work on that. Let me back on. So we'll see about getting him on, but
That
I
guy's
appreciate
great.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. How long have you known him?
Dude, I've known him since I was like 15, I think.
Yeah. Long
I think
time,
15,
man.
yeah, like 15, 16 years.
Yeah, dude.
I still talk to him all the time. I
Yeah.
talked to him today.
Yeah. I think I did too. I think
Yeah.
I talked to him for a few minutes before I got home. But
Yeah.
all right, Anthony, man.
All right, man. Well, if you
Take
never
it
need me
easy.
on again, you let me know.
Oh, definitely, man. I'll be here after I get through rounds of everybody that I got booked up. We'll jump on. So if you reach out to me directly, like you did,
Uh-huh.
I'll bump you up to the front of the list as soon as we can. So I
Nice.
appreciate it, man. Thanks for having the
All
courage to
right, man.
share everything.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
All right, later.
Wait, is it recording right now? Cut that all out.